Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Ben Whittaker, I suppose he makes a bit of a statement, stops Liam Cameron in their rematch in the second round. Cameron sort of threw a lazy left. Whittaker pinged a sharp and very accurate and very hard right hand over the top. It made one of Cameron's legs kick, which is normally a sign that your legs aren't under you, obviously. He staggered back to the ropes. Whittaker pursued him instantly, was all over him like sauce over spaghetti, let the hands go, lots of straight punches and wide ones as well. I mean, I don't think Cameron was really all there. He was trying to ride out the storm a bit, but one of the punches, I think it was another right hand, unhinged his legs. He almost went down. He was pinned in the corner, and the referee, Howard Foster, who does like a good stoppage, doesn't he? He jumped in and Cameron did not complain. The crowd were pissed off because the crowd were very pro Liam Cameron. But I don't really think there was much room for complaint, to be honest with you. And Whittaker went a little bit crazy, went over to the corner, leant out the ring to have it out with Cameron's corner. Obviously, there had been words exchanged, and they accused him of spitting at the corner. I don't think he did spit at anyone. I think he just, he just had something to say, and he had his mouthpiece in, and maybe a bit of drool came out. But I don't think he spat. I think he just wanted to say "fuck you," basically, which he probably did, both before by stopping their fighter early, and also with just the gesture alone. It was a good win. It was a very, very good win against a guy who, had never previously been stopped. Now, Cameron, we know about his we probably know about his out of the ring problems. He got banned, had a lengthy, very unnecessarily lengthy drug ban, and he was the Commonwealth middleweight champion. Now he's boxing at 175. He gave Whittaker hell in the first fight. But in this fight, he just didn't get into it. It's as simple as that. And Whittaker did what he had to do. He looked sharp from the word go. He had Andy Lee in his corner for the first time. He won the first round. Cameron couldn't really get close to him, but then this was always going to be one of those fights where the first half would probably belong to Whittaker, and if things went according to plan, Cameron would have the second half of the fight. But we didn't get into the second half of the fight. And I suppose you could say Whittaker did to Cameron what he was supposed to have done in the first fight. But he's rectified the wrong now. And there's no doubt, Whittaker's always had a lot of talent, but just hasn't used it. And seemed to be drifting into that, sort of no man's land of trying to get by on talent alone and not working hard enough. And there were issues with trainers and so on and so forth, and injuries. He has had injuries. Now he's with Andy Lee, and he's over in Ireland, maybe away from all the temptations. He was respectful to Cameron afterwards, held his hand up in the ring, and they were chatting quite cordially. You settle it in the ring and then you shake hands. That's the way it's supposed to be. And Whittaker did this. Cameron did it. Cameron's just a down-to-earth bloke, isn't he? I mean, it's just disappointing for him. I was a bit surprised it ended that early. You can never rule out an early stoppage when you've got, two fighters who they have contrasting styles, and you can sort of see so many permutations of how a fight could end. I have to say, I thought an early stoppage was quite low on the menu. But fair play to Ben Whittaker. He did what he had to do, and he rectified the wrong. Now, how much higher can he go? Well, he's a work in progress. He's still only 27, Whittaker. He's not that old. And now he's with Andy Lee. If he lives the life and he maximises his talent and he does what he really should have done since turning pro, under the tutelage of Lee, then I think he can go places. Because this he might have turned a corner here by hooking up with Lee. And maybe sometimes it's good to clear your mind and have a complete, almost rebuild from the floorboards up. Instead of tarting up the house, you knock it down and build a new one. Hamza Shiraz has recently done this with Andy Lee. He's about to fight with Andy Lee in his corner for the first time, and he's moved up another weight division, and so he's sort of started again. I think if you're young enough, there's nothing wrong with doing this because you freshen everything up. I got to feel a little bit for Cameron because Cameron's 34 now, and he did have several of his years taken off him unfairly, I think, for failing a test, but it wasn't a PED test. I think he failed for some was it a cocaine compound or something? There was something in cocaine that he tested positive for, and he said it was because he was selling tickets and there might have been some cocaine on one of the notes. And all right, maybe he's bullshit, and you never know, do you? You never know and he did have addiction problems with alcohol. So that might be a tall tale, but did he deserve to have 4 or 5 years out of the ring? Probably not. For a first offence, give him a couple of years. Now he's 34, and this was really the opportunity for him to really burst on the scene had he beaten Whittaker. But to get blown away like that, on the one hand, it looks very bad on his record. It's his first stoppage defeat and his 7th defeat. On the other hand, you could say, well, he didn't take a beating. He just got stopped early. It's not like he was outboxed, beaten up and chopped up. No, he'll get work on the domestic circuit, I'm sure. And he has signed to Queensbury, so maybe Queensbury can do a bit of a rebuild job on him, But I don't know. What do you think about Ben Whittaker? Does this result flatter to deceive, or is it the sign of something really positive? And I'm not just thinking about the result, but also the change of trainer and the change of location as well, getting away from all the temptations. Let me know what you think. Comments below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, do all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Not bad, is it? Bit of boxing on Sunday. Bit of an Easter Sunday boxing day. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to reading what you've got to say. Thanks very much, and bye for now.